You are a college student and having the same nightmare over and over about an incident that happened to your grandma that is so dramatic everyone in your family wish you were never around. However, something sinister chases you all over the place, and his name is Death.
Only by embracing death will it pass you by.
Death is coming and will hunt you and your family down until you are dead. What do you do? I will provide the mistakes made and tips for surviving death in Final Destination Bloodlines.
Death doesn't like to be cheated. Good luck.
Everyone in his family is about to die, and there's no way to escape in death. The movie starts off a couple going to a fancy skyscraper called the Skyview. Iris and her boyfriend at the time gets an invite, and the boyfriend wants to surprise Iris. Everyone in the area is having a great time, such as taking pictures, social gallery, and even a little punk trying to steal coins from the fountain. The coin is going to be crucial in this movie. Iris and her boyfriend go to the elevator, which is about 15 people. They go to the reservation desk, but it's all booked up. So they decide to hang around a bit, and Iris gets so nervous due to the heights. Iris is so nervous to the point that a lady knows that she's expecting. The lady tells her to tell the truth so they both can be happy together. All of a sudden, Iris dropped a bombshell and tell him that she's expecting, while he dropped his own bombshell to propose to Iris. All of a sudden, weird things start to happen. Parts of the chandelier falls on the floor and make a crack on the glass floor. A woman hat flying off, and that little punk who stole the coin from the fountain decided to throw the coin. That coin started a chain of events. The next thing, death coming from everyone and people falling to the floor. People burn to death. The foundation of the building crumbling, such as stairs, elevator, and floors. Everyone get killed except Iris and a little kid, which later they fall to their demise. And Stefani wakes up in a dream in the classroom. Alright, when it comes to death, death is undefeated and will hunt you down and try to kill you. There are a few things that Iris could avoid in the situation. First thing, the sky view is 490 feet tall with a shaky foundation that is not good. Second, the floor is made out of glass, and that is not a good thing. If that were me, I would never enter that building knowing if I was scared of heights. Anything that high up can happen, and when death is knocking on your door, it will use that to its advantage. The glass floor is a terrible idea, especially that high, which results in one single crack and it spells doom. Iris should have noticed the elevator door was not closed all the way, which is a good sign to go back down to the stairs and get out the building. I know death is coming, but if you're scared of heights with a shaky foundation, combination of loud music that could rock the foundation, then you better go down the stairs and leave Skyview for good. If not, death will win by default.
The relentless son of a...
As for the little punk who started the whole chain of events with the coin, if I were Iris, I would grab my shoe or find someone's belt and beat that little punk for not listening.
I wouldn't do that just yet, cause your ass is mine.
Although death never fell, but that little punk contributed by helping death. After Stephanie screamed in the classroom and again in bed from her bad nightmares, her roommate tells her to go find Iris because you are making me lose sleep every night and needs to go. Stephanie goes to her aunt and uncle's house trying to find info on Iris, who is her grandmother. Everyone from her dad, aunt, and uncle acted suspicious when asked about Iris, but Aunt Brenda caves in and tells Stephanie where Iris might be located. A scene later, she goes to Iris' house where Iris' house is like Fort Knox. No way for anyone to come in or leave out. Iris reluctantly let her in but have her not to make any sudden moves. The reason Iris is isolated from the world because Dev has been stalking her for a long time, and she's been super cautious and somewhat superstitious.
But Death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans.
Iris explained that she had a premonition of how she could see what happened to everyone.
I had a premonition that started it all. I saw what Death was about to do.
The good news that she saved everyone. Everyone was happy except for Death. Years passed by, Death came from everyone, and it was waiting to get Iris for the Skyview incident. Iris give her a book, but Stefani reluctantly don't want it or don't believe her and leave Iris' house. As soon Iris steps foot on the porch, everything's happening at the same time, and Depp is waiting to make his final move. She sees the sign, but ignores it to give it to the book to Stefani and shows how Depp can be beaten.
This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
Iris shows Stefani by being executed by Depp, and Depp finally got to her after all these years.
But Death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans.
Alright, Stefani's family was acting weird about Iris. Nobody wants to talk about it or anything. The incident with Iris was so devastating that it crippled the family structure. If that were me, I would pull someone over like Aunt Brenda, one-on-one conversation, and find out what happened. She seemed like a logical choice. You know they are hiding a secret in someone, and there are two ways to get answers out of them. One, be nice and open things up a bit, or get aggressive with them and demand answers. Iris had a perfect game plan to extend her life. She isolated herself from the world. She built a fortress, grew her own food, and had water so she won't have to take any chances outside the world. You do have to wonder how she will wash her clothes. Iris made two mistakes. The first mistake is letting Stefani onto the property, which started a chain of events with the fire extinguisher, and the second mistake is she ignored the signs just to give Stefani the book.
This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
If that were me, I would talk to Stefani through that door and not let her in. Secondly, I would give her the book by placing it on the porch and tell her to back up. Although I might die at some point, but I am trying to prolong my life as long as I can. Stefani and her brother Charlie at Iris' funeral, where things get tense when Stefani's mom shows up trying to cope with the loss of her mom. At the barbecue, the family are setting things up and some people are getting careless, like this dude with the glass. Bottles knock on the hose pipe, and other things potentially could cause death. Stefani mans up, shows up, and see a rake underneath the trampoline, which is a good catch.
Charlie, get up here!
But Auntie carelessly triggered a lawnmower for a poor Howard he met his demise. Uncle Howard got messed up really good. Stefani tried to explain to the family about the clue to see who dies first based on a family tree, but none of them family members didn't want to believe it.
All started with Grandma. Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist.
Especially when they saw after Uncle Howard's death. What's even worse is all of them don't want no part of Stefani. It was unfortunate for Uncle Howard to get got like that in front of everyone. There was no way to save Uncle Howard because Stefani did not know the order. If that would be, I would try to find the order of who's dying next and find where to survive. Instead of brushing Stefani like they did, I would take the book and read to see if there's a fighting chance to defeat death, which is impossible, but at least prolong my life. Like doing what Iris did, isolate myself away from everyone. Since the family decided to ignore Stefani, they would find out the hard way. Erik is at the tattoo parlor giving his customer a tongue ring, and Dev is one step ahead. Dad started to get a little sloppy by having a few things happen in the parlor, like disinfecting liquor on the floor, ceiling fan turning the chain on the ceiling inadvertently, which resulted in the chain piercing Erik's nose ring. Dad tried to choke him when she escaped from the chain but burned himself and the parlor explodes. Is Erik dead? Maybe. The next scene, Stefani wakes Charlie up because she thinks Erik next, but miraculously Erik is alive. As Stefani warns Erik of his surroundings, Erik is being a dumbass and making a mockery of death.
Is she coming for our family? Because that would be crazy.
But death will make him pay for that.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
Julia shows up telling Stefani to get lost but somehow get caught in the trash can dumpster. Stefani, Erik, and Charlie try to save her, but death is one step ahead and execute her. The family gather in a room, scared to death, but Aunt Brenda dropped a bombshell that she'd been having an affair, which make Erik so mad. So they decided to find a guy named JB to see if he can help to escape death. This is exactly what happened when you make fun of death. Death will be knocking on your door or someone else's door to show you it's not playing around like the Grim Reaper. It has to take a life to show you that you can and will be next. Basically, you are on borrowed time. The family decide to visit JB at the autopsy room, and he tells his story during the Skyview incident. He was the little boy that Iris saved, and he helped Iris build the fortress. JB tells you there are 2 ways to escape death temporarily. 1, you must die and come back. 2, kill someone and take their life off their living. He also explained that people be asking him about escaping death for years but getting tired of it, because death never loses.
Only by embracing death will it pass you by.
You better enjoy life to the fullest while you can. When death comes, there's no escape, and death don't like to be cheated. When you cheat death, it gets messy. He also tells him this.
Good luck.
So, the family tried to come up with a plan, but Erik and Bobby has a plan of their own. They want to kill Bobby and revive your back, which is risky. So they go to the vending machine, but the candy gets stuck, which they try to shake the machine, which they get the candy, but the metal springs of the machine sticks out. This candy is like Reese's Pieces Buttercup, which Bobby is allergic to peanut butter. So they decide to go into the CT scan room to work their plan. It's a dumb plan and will backfire badly.
Not a great plan.
Somehow the machine comes on and attracts all the metal like magnet. Bobby eats the candy and becomes allergic. All of a sudden, the magnetic force for the CT scan machine goes up so high that it collects all the metal. It gathers all the metal that Erik is broken in half, since half of his body has Erik piercing all over his body. Then the nurse notices metal is going to the room and sees Bobby in the room to check on him to see he's alright. But death is not done yet. The metal spray for the vending machine target Bobby, and Bobby go down to his demise. Alright, there are a few things about death that you must know. Number 1, if you cheat death, you basically gonna die. Death. Number 2, death can go in normal or in reverse order. Number 3, you must die and somehow to come back to beat death. Number 4, you can take someone else's life to replace yours. Number 5, even if you do all that, death will still come back to you and hunt you down and to kill you. The 2 idiots thought they had a plan, but death had other ideas. You really think you can escape death knowing it can come back to get them, and death will be twice as worse.
But Death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans.
Stefani, Charlie, and Mom decide to go to Iris' house to escape death, which is a great plan. It's a great plan, but death is always one step ahead. They nearly got crushed by a truck, but they got lucky. The trio go to Iris' place, and death is waiting on them like a pack of wolves. They run through the gate and crash, and Stefani's seatbelt gets stuck. As Mom and Charlie goes into the house, Mom carelessly opens the door, which let in a little fire and eventually blow the house up, which result in Charlie being stuck under the wood and Mom's face being disfigured, and Stefani is drowning. Mom saved Charlie, and death gets to her. Charlie tried to save Stefani, but inadvertently cut his hand by a knife, but somehow cut the rope, cut the seatbelt to save Stefani from drowning. The next day, Charlie is going to the prom to meet his girl with the dad and Stefani. Meanwhile, an old lady paid for the lemonade and dropped a coin, which that same coin is going to start another chain of events. Stefani and Charlie talked to this guy about Charlie saving her, but he said she never died in the first place. All of a sudden, the chain of events starts again, and the train derails so badly that Death come back for payback to get Stefani and Charlie, and Death is still undefeated. Stefani, I gotta say, you screwed up.
You know you done f***ed up, right?
You had a golden opportunity to save everyone. Firstly, if you notice a pattern, Death was going after the oldest to the youngest, which make yourself and Charlie last. If you took advice for Iris, you would have found out who is next earlier and would have not gotten Iris killed. You got the order completely wrong. With Howard's death, there was no way you would have known that, but I will give you a pass on that. As for the others, I would not give you no pass. The easiest thing you should have done is not bother Iris, and you and your family members would have been alive. Instead, Iris died in your hands, and then Death started killing everyone in the family, including you. You bothered your family to death about finding Iris, which they tried to protect you, but you would not listen, which resulted in Kaitlyn's brutal death. Because of all of this, Stefani, you screwed up.
You know you done up, right?
Final Destination Bloodlines, brutal death, and rest in peace to the legend Tony Todd. The next time you try to find a solution to escape death, you can't, because death don't like to be cheated, and you will pay a severe price for that. If you want to see more upcoming movie reviews, press the like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next movie review.
Only by embracing death will it pass you by. Good luck.